You're such an asshole.
Yes. The answer to your question is yes. If I die right now in the middle of this and I don't get to like your request, the answer is yes, Yosef. It is yes. It is easier in general. I mean, of course, different people, and you might find a great employer. But I mean, I'm living proof of that. So's Chad Elkins. Even accounting for my somewhat entrepreneurial or abrasive personality, it was multiple times easier. It was a fraction the difficulty to be self employed than it was working for assholes. It doesn't even come close. Sure, yeah, every once in a while you might get lucky, find that great job with a great boss. But I'll tell you, yes, man, it is literally easier to do most anything than get a successful white collar profession. I even did a video on it, I don't know, 6 months ago. It's easy to become an influencer. It's easier to be Amish. It's easier to be self-employed. It's easy just to go get a trade and open up your own damn shop. I have a friend. She's a female, obviously. I still got schmutz on these glasses. She came out of dental school and she went working right for herself. She says, why do I have to work underneath someone? She's been doing, God, quarter century now. Because everyone's an asshole in this country. Now, I don't know if you're from the United States, but at every level, coworkers, employees, HR, going to school, getting your degree, you could literally build your own house. Won't be a fancy house, but you could build your own house in the 4 years it takes you to go to college. If you woke up every day, went to it, now you'd have to have the budget to buy the materials. You could build your own house and you'll be way ahead of everybody else who went to college. You don't even have to deal with the fucking assholes. You don't have to deal with commuting. It is such here. The U.S. labor market is so inefficient. You're better off on doing homesteading like Ryan Steva at the Homestead Consultant. Look him up and subscribe. Tell him I said hi. Great guy. But your premonition is correct. Your hunch is correct, sir. So let's read it. Hey, Aaron, I have a video request about a topic I've been wrestling with for a while, and I'd really like to hear your take on it. I'm starting to think that for a certain category of college graduates today, or anyone, starting a successful business is actually easier, safer, and more realistic than trying to land a stable, well-paying job. Yes. At first, this sounds counterintuitive. No. Because most young people today make terrible decisions. They major in useless subjects. They drown themselves in student loans, or even if they choose a legitimate STEM field, they still go to ridiculously overpriced universities and end up financially crippled before they even begin their career. You're right, but that's not, to a certain level, that's not their fault. That's the response. That we can solve that problem now. Maybe not you and me, but parents can choose right now to give their kids the right information. I got a buddy. He's got a daughter and a kid. I've talked about him before. This is father of the year. He's training his daughter to basically become an accountant by about the age of 18. There's no reason to go to college. His son, he wants to turn more into a carpenter. Kind of also the same idea there, but he's a boy, and boys being boys, they don't listen to dad. I understand. I was one at one time. Young people make terrible decisions because their parents and teachers give them terrible information. That can be changed immediately. Obviously, these people are not in a position to start a business, but I'm talking about a different group, a small minority who actually played their cards right. They chose a real STEM major. They went to reputable but affordable school. They graduated with no debt. They built real technical skills, especially in software and engineering. They may not have worked at top companies, but they worked a little to build a reliable network and experience. They have I'll tell you this, with time does come a network of people that, because you work in the field, you get to know people. That's important. Yeah, that helps out having a a company. They have the ability to live cheaply and avoid lifestyle inflation, have a small safety net or passive income to fall back on. For people in that situation, it generally feels like entrepreneurship is the easier path. When I look at the so-called what the good called companies expect today, the whole thing looks insane. You're right. Here's what I want you to do. If you want, add to it the time, the cost, right? The time you got to invest and the explicit cost you got to pay for tuition and the lost wages you could have had. To get a high-paying, stable job, they basically want you to get multiple advanced degrees offered from elite universities that cost a fortune. That means years of extra schooling, very little income during that time, massive opportunity cost, and you ain't getting laid. And often the expectation that you will willingly go into 5 or 6 figure debt just to stay competitive. And even then, you still might get filtered out by an automated HR system, endless interview hoops, unrealistic experience requirements. Don't forget fake job postings and arbitrary gatekeeping. Dude, that's just you getting the job. Then you get the job, you got to deal with all the fucking political bullshit. You cannot thrive unless you're exceptionally lucky, like you're the right guy at the right place at the right time with a great boss. That is less than 2% of the times you're in business working for a company. It's possible, but it's exceptionally rare. Yeah. And yeah, you're just talking getting the job. The job market today feels like a giant filtering machine that punishes competent people who don't follow the prestige pipeline. You got it. I know where you are, but if you're in the United States, and then we outsource the jobs overseas. And if you're in IT, I mean, obviously you're aware of how it's been outsourced overseas. Meanwhile, starting a business, especially in software, and when you have a genuine solution to a real problem and access to just an average fund, has become easier than before, especially with cloud access to computing servers. I also think, depending on how big your project is, I think GoFundMe or types, Give, Send, Go are other ways that you can find small levels of capital, especially if you got a good idea. Yeah, you could go not hedge funds, venture funds and equity groups, as long as you stay the fuck out of your way and you don't give up majority control. That's another way for financing or funding. But it's the old college trade. If you find that magical product that you can produce all on your own, genius. Before, especially with cloud access to computing service. Today, you can very cheaply access major computing power like supercomputers, quantum computers, and even niche kinds of hardware like neuromorphic. Oh, shit. What's your IQ? Neuromorphic hardware for very small fees. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need a fancy university brand. You don't need to hire. Yeah, it's entrepreneurship. Dude, do you know how quick I can make decisions running my own business, small and odd as it might be? There was no meetings. There was no committee. I didn't have to worry about somebody's fees. I didn't have some dickless boomer wonderfuck bitching about the shades of gray on my chart. I could just do it. I'm not kidding. If I don't have to deal with bosses or coworkers or meetings and bullshit, I can go at least 4 times as fast, if not 5. You don't need a hiring manager or recruiter to approve you. Just need a laptop, intelligence, and the willingness to build something people. There, you could do it. I know what your idea is, dude. But if you need a neuromorphic hardware, I want to go do it, especially if it doesn't bankrupt you. Yes. What's great is when you do your first entrepreneurial thing, whether it's a gig or your case, a project or a product, and it sells and you make money, you're like, oh my God, that was so much more money per hour than these fuckwits and the speed I could go. I mean, you got to have a real idea like you or, my Aaron's analog, although I need billions of dollars to do that. You can't be a typical girl like, I'm going to be an event planner. I'm going to run a wedding venue. I'm going to sell a bottle shop. Wait, don't give up your career as a realtor. Hang on now. Let's not be rash. Oh, of course, you need some connections and funding, but that does not necessarily mean you have to work at major companies. And if you're someone who has no debt, real technical skills, low expensive, and the freedom to take risk, entrepreneurship actually becomes less risky than chasing corporate approval. The biggest risk is you all wasting your time going to school to get a job that barely pays and is going to be outsourced, ended, or being cut or laid off, replaced by AI, whatever. Especially younger people today. College and even in some of these STEM fields, certainly computer science nowadays, even some fields that were very stable beforehand, it's like, no, man, no. And so I'm a big push. I mean, you're looking at entrepreneurship. I would look at entrepreneurship in another way where can you fix your own car? Can you build your own house? Can you homestead? It's a form of self-employment where you're not paying specialists to provide you your goods and services. You're providing it all yourself. Now, of course, yes, you'll probably have to have an electrician come in and hook up the solar panels or some other such thing like that. But yes, the more time you spend either on your entrepreneurial projects or building and maintaining the things that you want in life physically yourself, that is much lower risk, much less costly. And if you're just doing your own labor, you're saving at least 35-40% on taxes because you're not paying the taxes to, when you work, you got to pay income tax. And when you pay some contractor, you got to pay his taxes. It's just it's not that you're so efficient, although you could be, is that the labor market in the United States has become so inefficient. It's like, why would I waste my time doing that? It is almost approaching that is twice as efficient for me to just build my own damn thing rather than work up the money and pay for it. Which I can't just go work up the money and pay for it because I need a college degree to work for you assholes. Fuck you. For people who graduate debt-free with the right skills, the equation completely flips. They have flexibility, time, a safety net, and the ability to experiment without the fear of financial disaster. Meanwhile, the traditional job path is demanding so much upfront investment, years of schooling, enormous financial MBA, bro, CPA, bro, and no guaranteed outcome that it feels more dangerous and uncertain than just starting a company as early as possible. There you go. Yes. All of it, yes. The only problem is you gotta start the right business, right? You can't do what typical Americans do, and that is, I want to start an easy, I want to run a restaurant or a coffee store. You gonna run it right? No. It's been my dream. I saw a cooking show with the other welfare collecting losers with tattoos on their arms. Yes, chef. So my question to you is this: has the modern job market become so bloated with gatekeeping, credentialism, and financial risk for the competent minority who avoided debt and learned useful skills? Starting a business is actually the easier and smarter option. Generally, yes, but it really depends on your idea, right? I'm going to assume you've thought your idea a little bit further through. And then there's ideas that don't cost a lot of money. Like for me to write a book, it doesn't cost money, it just costs time. I won't go bankrupt writing a book. But if you want to, open up a semiconductor plant or whatever, that's obviously got a lot of risk. It sounds like you, especially with the increase in processing power and the available of online, you can access online servers and computing power, and they just spit out the results for you. Yeah, whatever your idea is, man. I hope, don't tell anyone. Listen, don't tell anyone your idea. I'm just gonna give you some. Whatever your idea is, do not tell anyone. No one. Do it, patent it, get the right, do what you need to do. Do not tell anyone. No matter how interesting it, don't tell your wife. Because you're going to go, oh my God, did I tell you what Joseph was doing? I just told Spacely Sprockets about Cogswell Cogs. No idea you had, honey. And what does that say about the future of young people who did everything right only to discover that the path to a good job is no longer more expensive, more uncertain than simply building something on their own? Unfortunately, though people are waking up to just how like Zoomers are waking up to how untenable it is to do the traditional corporate work college thing in the United States. Americans are waking up. I think now 2/3 believe college isn't worth it. People are slowly waking up. So the future for younger people is getting better. But if you do, quote, everything right, only does it, yeah, you're fucked. It depends on your parents. It depends on whether you're, and it's, look, I'm sick and tired of waiting for parents, which are people my age, to wake the fuck up and tell their kids the truth. Because the parents themselves aren't awake. Well, yeah, you get your foot in the door. It's going to be up to the kid. The kids are going to have to goonie up. The kids are going to have to save the adults. The kids are going to have to be like the kids in South Park. The kids are going to have to like be old school Gen X, which apparently we forgot how to do that, and lead themselves. Because the adults and the parents are absolutely worthless in this country. People were slowly coming around, but there's still a group of people, a certain percentage of Gen Z and a certain percentage of Alpha. They're gonna parents and teachers. NBA. There will always be those victims, but I think it's moving in the right direction where younger people, they may not have a clear path. Maybe not everyone has the entrepreneurial spirit, but they're not gonna enter the real world 22 or 24 years old with 78 grand in debt and a worthless joke of a piece of paper for a degree. Yeah. Let me know how much you charge. No, that's glad to do it. Great point. I've said it before. It is easier for you to become an influencer than it is for you to get like a successful career in white collar work. Because after you do a podcast for a long enough time and you don't fuck up and like, hey, let's murder that group of people with the funny hats because I'm edgy. People are going to gravitate to your personality if you're authentic. No guarantee, but that's a better shot than I'm going to get my MBA, bro. I'll put in 60 hours a week, boys. Yeah. And if you want, go look at Ryan Steva, Homestead Consultant. Look him up. Link below. Of course, naturally, it is congruent with this topic. I have a link to the course me and Chad put together called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. We think accounting is one of the better fields for self-employment. Everyone needs their tax. Oh my God, AI. Yeah, let us know when it happens. Let us know. And you do not have to. Oh, shit. Parker Franklin just sent me an email. He wants to advertise. Parker Franklin got his EA. He's off to the races doing his taxes. Anyway, if you're interested in a career, there are other careers. The one I'm familiar with, because Chad's a friend of mine, I also majored in finance, is accounting. You may be interested in accounting. It's not going to be sexy. Isn't going to be fun. Dentistry is another one you might want to consider, because I do have a friend there. Dentistry, accounting, become an ophthalmologist maybe. Take a look at accounting. The world's greatest accounting career. Read through the description first before you take the course. I don't want you to take it. It doesn't teach you accounting. It teaches you how to navigate a course in to get a good career in accounting. It's a roadmap to a good career in accounting. So make sure you're at least interested in accounting first before you take it. But if you are interested in accounting, take the fucking class. Okay, it's going to save you so much money and time doing it the right way. All right, there you go. We got super chats. Let's go to the super chats. We got one. Hat clogs, $5. Make number go up, bro. Ibita, bro. YouTube is using Gemini AI to censor content creators. Why do women see therapy as a virtue rather than a red flag? Okay, lots of question. Yes, YouTube is using AI to censor content creators. They erroneously took down Thinking Apes channel. He filed a petition or whatever, a challenge. They said, oh, yeah, you're right. We did it accidentally. I watched an interesting video that there's not enough people to censor or audit all of YouTube's videos that are being made. And so they have to rely on AI, to which I'm like, or you just have true free speech. And then, you got to rate it. X, R, PG-13. Is this too political? What do you know? We talk about murdering people here. Okay, probably not going to get them any. Like, you could do that, but I don't run YouTube. Why do women see therapy as a virtue rather than a flag? Because women use therapy. It's the same thing. People on antidepressants or SSRIs or other psychotropic drugs, brain affecting drugs. People who take it don't see anything wrong with it because I'm normal. I see a therapist. I'm on SSRIs. People are like, no, man, no, you're not invited to the party. No, we're not dating. Yeah, and it's not necessarily their fault because it's not just women get therapy, but younger people, by younger I mean 50 and younger. Everyone across the world was sold that therapy is like this science that works. It's not. It's all a crapshoot. There's some sectors and fields, especially neurochemistry and schizophrenia is a real thing. But this general gray poop, blah poop, I got social anxiety, I have autism, I have Asperger's, this and that and that. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Fuck off. Oh, here's therapy. We know what we're doing. Like, well, then how come people aren't cured? It's what I want to know. I had an infection. I took antibiotics. It cured because it's science. I got this sadness. I'm on antidepressants. How long you been antidepressants? 12 years. It ain't working. Have you thought about losing weight and working out? I've said it before. The psychology industry wants you they want everyone to see a therapist. They want to be like normal. Like you go in and get, your teeth cleaned. They want you to see a therapist once a week. Like I said, oh, my therapist is just normal. It's like, no, that's not. It's really not normal. It's inured, it's commonized, it's become standard. People don't bat an eye at it anymore. I'm sorry. If you're seeing a therapist, we're not dating. I'm very unlikely to hire you. Because if it was 50 years ago, maybe like, oh shit, you got some problems, PTSD, or like you went to war. I'm like, okay, buddy, I understand you go to a therapist, but oh my God, I grew up in Cottage Grove and it was so hard because my daddy got me the pink cabriolet and I wanted the cherry red one. And like my mom, and like, no, you just weak. You're just fucking weak. That's it. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. Take a look at that world's greatest accounting career course available on Teachable. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.